Dom here, and welcome back to It's All Fun and Games. This week we're going to take a look at my top 10 favorite games of all time. Now I'm not saying these are the best games ever made, just a list of my personal favorites so that you guys can get a glimpse at my taste in video games. So let's get right on into the countdown.
Number 10. The iconic Blue Bomber, Mega Man. One of Capcom's flagship franchises. Or at least he used to be. I've always enjoyed the main Mega Man and the X series, but it's Mega Man Legends for the PlayStation that grabs the 10 spot. Mega Man games are typically 2D side-scrollers, but this was a 3D action-adventure set on a flooded planet Earth. You play as Mega Man Volnut, a digger who traverses underground ruins in search of items and treasure. While on these digs, Mega must battle with legions of robots and the Bond family, a group of pirates in search of a legendary treasure. Mega Man is equipped with his usual Buster Gun, this time with lock-on targeting, and the Buster can be upgraded along the way. With the help of your friend Roll, you can also get a variety of sub-weapons and armor that are created with spare parts that you find on digs. This game is a bit rough to look at these days, but it still feels very good to control. It also has a solid story, which in my opinion is a first in a Mega Man game. Couple that with exciting boss fights, and this is a game I find myself going back to year after year. Number 9. Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo. One of the best games to play with a buddy. It's just pure side-scrolling beat-em-up action. Sure, there are games of this genre that have more combos, weapons, or overall length, but Turtles in Time just oozes fun. You don't need to be great at video games to have a blast with this one. It's fairly short, so it lends itself to be playing multiple times over. If you got a half hour to kill, pop in Turtles in Time and have a ball beating up foot soldiers to your heart's content. The game looks great and has aged really well. Like many games that I'm going to put on this list, Turtles has a rockin' soundtrack, and Sewer Surfin' in particular is an awesome track that fits perfectly. I can't imagine that people haven't played this game, but if you haven't, drop what you're doing and play it now. Wait a sec, don't do that because you're watching my show. Number 8. Contra for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Contra is one of my favorite franchises, so it's a struggle to pick just one, so I went with the one that started it all. Contra is a 2D side-scrolling run and gun. Run to the right and kill everyone in sight. But what makes this game so fun is in its difficulty. Contra is practically synonymous with difficult, and it's damn hard too. It's a simple game, but one-hit deaths really force you to think about, anticipate, and predict enemy and boss movements. While it is very challenging, I urge you not to fall into temptation and use that 30 lives cheat code, because with limited lives and continues, it makes the game far more fulfilling once you get the hang of it. Once you beat Red Falcon, you'll feel unstoppable. The graphics are a bit primitive, but the soundtrack will get you pumped up, especially when you need it, like during a boss fight. Play some couch co-op with a buddy to really increase its difficulty. Contra is just an awesome classic. And did I mention it's hard? Number 7. Rayman Legends for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and the Wii U. Easily the best 2D platformer of the last generation. Its predecessor, Rayman Origins, was a fantastic game, but for me, the sequel blew it out of the water. I've never been too excited with the Rayman games, but Origins and Legends brought new life into this franchise. Visually, it's incredible to look at, so crisp, clean, and fluid, with a look that will never go bad. The character and enemy designs are very interesting and original as well. Earlier levels are nice and easy for beginners, but the difficulty can really ramp up in the later stages. The controls are extremely responsive, which is imperative for an intense platform like this. There's plenty here to keep you busy, and the musical levels in particular are my favorite part about the game. When you start these levels, you're listening to a famous song like Eye of the Tiger or Black Betty, and then you sprint through the level while hitting jumps, slides, springs, swings, and dives in time with the beats and melody of the song. It's a modern-day masterpiece and a must-have for fans of the platforming genre. Number 6. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sonic gets kind of a bad rap these days, but this is hands down my favorite Sonic game ever made. Visually, it's pretty similar to the first, but that's okay because it's really good to look at. Sonic 2, though, expanded on the first with the inclusion of the Sonic Spin, Tails, and of course, Super Sonic. But this game doesn't stray too far from the formula, like turning you into a werewolf or something. The level design here is really great. You get to keep your momentum going through the entire levels, so it gave you a nice feeling of speed, which is what you want from a Sonic game. There's a nice balance of natural and mechanical atmospheres, so you really get the sense that Dr. Robotnik has taken over. Robotnik's machines are all pretty neat, but they pale in comparison to the final boss on the Death Egg. You need to gather all 7 Chaos Emeralds in order to transform into Supersonic. You acquire them in a 3D style Collect the Rings minigame, which can be fun to play. Each level has some killer music, with my personal favorites being Chemical Plant Zone and Mystic Cave Zone. To me, this is the pinnacle of Sonic, with few of his games even coming close. Number 5.
Super Mario Sunshine! Woohoo!
Again, on this list, I'm forced to choose a favorite from a large franchise, and it does not get any bigger than Mario. For this spot, I was debating on a 3D Mario game, and it came down to last year's spectacular Super Mario 3D World and the polarizing Super Mario Sunshine for the Nintendo GameCube. Well, Sunshine edged it out, so
Here we go!
Mario games are always bright and colorful, but there's usually a dark dungeon, castle, or haunted house level in there to break it up. Sunshine, however, really stayed true to its name because every level is like an explosion of sunshine. That's what I really love about this game. It's so cheerful, and it just makes me happy. The hub world is the beautiful Isle Delfino, a tropical paradise that Mario and Peach jet off to for a much-needed vacation. When they arrive, it seems that someone has been using Mario's likeness to defile the island with filth, and Mario takes the blame. So Mario is now armed with Flood, some sort of sentient power washer / jetpack hybrid, and together they must rid the island of grime and evil while collecting shine sprites so they can restore the sunny glory. This game is just a joy to look at. Each level just looks better than the last. And the new characters like the Piantas and Nokis have their charm as well, and I especially like the big blooper. All the levels are pretty large, with many secrets and challenges in each. Mario controls well, and the Flood really adds a new dimension of platforming because now Mario can jump higher and further than ever before. The camera does get a bit troublesome, but it's not too bad. Collecting all 120 shine sprites provides a nice challenge and makes the game quite lengthy. When this game came out, it had a bit of mixed reviews, but nowadays it seems to get a lot of love, which I think it deserves. Do yourself a favor and take a trip to Isle Delfino as soon as you can. Number 4. Katamari Damacy for the PlayStation 2. What can I say about this wacky game? It's really its own genre, and the beauty of this game lies in its simplicity. No combos to memorize, rarely using buttons, just the 2 analog sticks. You control the Prince of the Cosmos pushing around a ball called the Katamari, and it will pick up anything that it touches as long as it's bigger than that item. You make the Katamari as big as you can in the allotted time, then present it to the King of the Cosmos. He will judge the Katamari, and then will turn it into a planet or a star. The graphics are really simple, but they're cute, and the dialogue from the King is really hilarious and really out there and strange. The game's soundtrack is one that you'll want to listen to even when you're not playing the game. So many catchy tunes, and the main song can get stuck in your head for weeks. This is the type of game that can be very relaxing while still being entertaining. I'd recommend this game to people who have a significant other, a friend, or a parent that they want to introduce to gaming. It's a great place to start because it's so simple, but addictive and extremely fun. Number 3. Ape Escape for the PlayStation. Growing up, I never got the Ghostbusters game that I thought fans deserved. But I think Ape Escape kind of filled that void for me. But instead of catching ghosts, you catch monkeys. You're tasked with capturing hundreds of pumped up primates, led by their leader Spectre, using tons of exciting and strange gadgets. There are many levels to explore from different time periods throughout history. In each level, there's a quota of monkeys, and when you catch them, you automatically exit the stage. Then you can choose to move forward to the next level, or go back into that same level and catch the rest of the pesky apes. This was the first time that I saw a game that required the use of the DualShock controller, and I think the control scheme fits perfectly. The left stick controls the character Spike, and the right stick controls your currently selected weapon. The D-pad and the shape buttons will cycle through and select a different gadget. It really makes switching weapons easy, which is great because you'll have to do it often. The graphics are, however, very jagged and dated by today's standards, but the monkeys themselves have a cute design and can dress funny, so that helps a bit. The large variety of gadgets, the innovative control scheme, and catching 100% of all the monkeys make this a highly enjoyable experience. Number 2. Toejam and Earl, Panic on Funkotron for the Sega Genesis. You control Toejam and Earl, two funky aliens who return to their home planet of Funkotron after a brief stay on planet Earth. The problem is that tons of Earthlings have stowed away on your ship, and now are loose and terrorizing Funkotron in ways that only humans can. Well, everyone is blaming Toejam and Earl, and rightfully so. Now these two buds must wrangle up those gross Earthlings and send them packing. To catch them, you have unlimited jars at your disposal, along with some special abilities like a panic attack, a funk scan, and a funk vac. Meanwhile, you must also collect the favorite possessions of the great Funkopotamus, the leader of Funkotron, in order to lure him out of hiding and restore the funk that the Earthlings have drained. Each level is packed with tons of secret areas, items, and minigames. The characters all have a very original design, especially the residents of Funkotron, and with the robust backgrounds, it really feels like an alien planet. The music brings it all together, with each track being better than the last. It's a true feast of funky goodness. You'll definitely want to listen to this soundtrack outside the game. This is another game that's even better with a buddy, and with about 20 levels, it can keep you busy for hours. Number 1. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door for the Nintendo GameCube. I found it difficult to put together a top 10 list because there are so many favorites that have to get left out, but I knew from the very start that The Thousand-Year Door would be number 1 without question. I love everything about this game. The gameplay, the graphics, soundtrack, story, it's all amazing. The Thousand-Year Door is a turn-based RPG featuring none other than Mario. Yes, there's the usual princess to be saved, but it's so much more than that. Mario is sent a letter from Peach that tells him to meet her on the island of Rogueport. When he arrives, Peach is of course kidnapped, but not by Bowser. This time it's the X-Nauts, led by the Vile Grotus, a group who are in search of a great treasure located under the island. So Mario must save the princess and unearth the treasure with the help of a brilliant cast of characters. You learn and get to know all these characters' backstories and end up truly caring about each of them. All are so likable, with my favorites being Goombella, Vivian, and Bobbery. The gameplay consists of turn-based combat. There are no random encounters, and when you're in battle, the gameplay is kept fresh with the action commands. These will boost attack and defense when button presses are properly timed. You also get tons of moves from the different badges you can collect, and each companion also has special abilities you can use in and out of battle. This game is brimming with secret items and side quests that you can continue even after you beat the main story, such as the Pit of 100 Trials or the Trouble Center. What really enhances the experience are the environments and areas that are included in the game. It breaks the typical Mario formula, not the usual grass, sand, underwater, lava level. You get a nice diversity with Rogueport, a fancy train, Pirate Cove, Space Station, and my favorite, the Wrestling Arena. This game has a really whimsical feeling of pure joy. Hours can just pass without putting down the controller. There's never a tedious moment. You're always entertained by either hilarious character dialogue, intense boss fights, or just exploring the many secrets of Rogueport. I can't recommend this game enough, as I've played it at least once a year since it was initially released. If you do try at least one game on this list, make it Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door.
Well, there you have it, guys. My top 10 favorite video games ever. Now, I had to leave a lot of favorite games that I loved off this list, but that's just the nature of the beast when you have to choose 10 games out of over 500. It's really difficult. So let me know what you guys think. Send me an email. Leave a comment down below about your top 10 favorite games. Thanks again for watching, guys. Remember, it's all fun and games.